Leading our news bulletin for tonight, firstly, the Niue government in a press release announced that they have now reached an agreement with Kiwibank to offer bank services in Niue. The long-awaited announcement has been a year of negotiations, and Premier Talangi is very pleased with this arrangement.
This is a unique arrangement that I don't believe has been done anywhere else. And I'm pleased that the team that we have working both here and in New Zealand, as well as Kiwibank, have looked at this from a very innovative way to resolve a difficulty we've had in trying to get bank services for small communities here. It is something that they probably do in New Zealand, but they are not called agencies. They are branches of Kiwibank and so on. In this instance, within the realm countries, ourselves and the Cook Islands and Tokelau, it's possible that this type of arrangement can also be translated or used in the Cooks as well as Tokelau. But I'm very pleased because this is a pioneering thing on our part, and we've become, if you like, experts in trying to determine how best to provide banking services for the people here, to enable them to access the bank accounts here, as well as to access those same funds with the same bank accounts in New Zealand. So I'm very pleased with that. And finally, let me say, I'd like to thank the team here for the work that they have done. They know who they are. They have done a tremendous job. It's taken a long time. It's been frustrating on occasions. But it's not unusual for us to find that with a new innovative way of banking, that we needed to ensure that we not only satisfy our own legal requirements, but we also satisfy, or Kiwibank satisfies their own requirements to meet the obligations of not just the money laundering and tax evasion laws, but also to satisfy the Reserve Bank of New Zealand requirements as well. So those things needed to be worked out, and frankly, the team has worked extremely hard, and I'm very, very pleased, and I thank them very much.
Kiwibank was launched over 10 years ago and is now the 5th largest New Zealand bank and the only one of those 5 that is wholly owned by New Zealand. Niue looks forward to launching a new innovative, safe and secure banking service to the island.
We're looking at opening the actual branch of the agency in association with Kiwibank in April of this year. The signing of the agreement today will trigger off a number of activities that we need to put in place to ensure that by the time April comes, all of the things that we need to do to ensure that there is a clean, good transition between what's happening at the present moment with BSB and moving into the new arrangement with Kiwibank will be smooth and seamless for the people who will be using that service.
From late April, there will also be selected Kiwibank products and services available for all Niue residents.
There will be debit cards instead of bank books. You will be able to open a bank account here, which also you will be able to access in New Zealand as well as here. As you also are probably aware, we're still in the final stages of negotiations with EFTPOS to enable us to use EFTPOS here, which will mean that the debit cards that we can use here can either be used by you to access your funds in the bank with cash, or you can take it and pay for your purchases at shops where EFTPOS is available.
So what are some of the, things that will be done in preparation for when this agency is actually set up?
The transition between what's happening with BSB at the present moment, them winding down, and the Kiwibank agency arrangements that we've agreed to, taking over that particular function, will probably take about two months to complete. And as I said, we're looking at about end of April, in fact, to get everything clean and ready for people to start accessing their accounts.
Premier Talangi says that the agreement with Kiwibank will be for 5 years. The government of Niue is also thankful to the Bank of the South Pacific for providing banking services to the island since 2004 and also for being part of Niue's economic growth. The northern side of the island was without power for most of Sunday due to a cable fault in Makefu. The fault was located between Eva Barry's house and the Makefu Village Green transformers. New Power staffs were quick to respond to fix the problem that is believed to have been caused due to moisture getting into the main conductor. According to the general manager of New Power, Speedo Hetutu, this is a common problem, especially with aging cables that are 30 years or over. He said that normally it takes about 6 hours to identify, locate and repair the problems, but the heavy downpours throughout the day caused some delays. Fortunately, New Power worked to lay down the new cable that is part of the EDF10 project in that particular area. That has now been connected and power was restored by 5 in the afternoon, much to the relief of residents from Makefu all the way to Liku. An accident at Tapeo Hill yesterday has police reminding people to be careful when driving, especially in the rainy conditions. Police and ambulance staff were on site to assist the expatriate who fell off his motorbike in what was a lone vehicle accident. The driver of the motorbike was taken to hospital for an assessment of injuries. While investigations are ongoing, it appears that the slippery conditions may have been the cause of the accident. Tapeo Hill Road has been a hazard spot due to the smooth surface, making it difficult to maneuver vehicles in wet conditions. The message now is to slow down when driving, especially if it is raining. An increase in bugs around the island has some residents annoyed and asking whether this could be an issue for quarantine to address. Niue's quarantine division says that they are aware of the insects, but they don't seem to be introduced pests.
We don't think it's an introduced pest, and so far we have no complaint. It's a quarantine pest, like in terms that we haven't had any report that it's eating the fruits or destroying flowers. It's just some sort of bug trying to look for a new source of food. It's not a quarantine pest. I've had a look at the movements of what's coming in and what's going out. It's not something we think that it's new.
The timing of this sudden incursion has raised concerns. Seems to coincide with the spread of the black mold, mealybugs and aphid problems also affecting trees on the island, leaving some to wonder whether they could be interrelated.
Everything's connected in terms of what's in nature, and if one bug has a spike in numbers, the other bug might see itself threatened and goes look for another habitat, a new habitat, and that's one of the reasons. We think that that's why it's coming into our homes, because of the mold now. It's on an increase, the mealybugs and even the aphids. So it's nothing new to us. So we got spraying depending on who rings up requiring our assistance. And we go out in the field. We do not do a blanket spraying, total spraying around the homes, but we target the plant that is affected by the mold or the mealybugs. The main reason why is we see that if we blanket spray the house, it'll kill the good bugs as well. That would help with the pollination of flowers or helps destroy all these aphids or these mealybugs. So we spray on request, but at the same time it'll cost. We have a charge of $20.50 per spray.
The black mold problem has spread across the island, even into the forest areas, but quarantine say that nature has its own defense mechanisms and the rain also helps rid trees of the black mold.
For any further assistance, we're available on Monday to Friday, 8 o'clock to 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. We're happy to answer any queries regarding the molds, the mealybugs, and if we're also available if they require us to come to their homes. We're happy to come and assist in any way we can.
Quarantine has taken samples to see whether they can identify what these insects are in order to know how to deal with them. Debris of what appears to be parts of a fishing vessel have been sighted on the eastern side of the island. Fishermen out at sea over the weekend were surprised when they saw some parts of what appeared to be a shipwreck washed up on the reef out at Motu in Lakepa, as well as on the reef in Liku. Niue Fisheries have had time to check out the debris and say that the bits of a fiberglass boat may have washed up on the reef during the rough seas over the past few weeks. These may be parts of a fishing boat because of the refrigeration coil inside, and it is estimated that the debris has probably been floating about in the ocean for more than 8 months, judging by the barnacles that are growing on them. It is also suspected that these may be some of the floating debris from tsunami-affected areas in the region. Fishermen are reminded to be vigilant while out at sea, especially with poor visibility in case they crash into these types of floating objects or debris that can cause injuries to passengers and also to the boats. Young people in communities from across 15 islands in the Pacific banded together on Saturday the 2nd of March as part of the 350.org Pacific Warrior Day of Action. Organisers from across the region planned activities in a call for climate change action in a push to make global carbon emitters accountable for their actions and take responsibility for the damage they're doing to the climate and Pacific communities' livelihoods. 350 Niue rounded up a group of people joining in solidarity in the regional campaign, firstly with a turf expression gardening activity at Hikulangi Sculpture Park with people of different ages showing their support. This was followed by a Warriors Challenge performed by a group of enthusiastic young people at various iconic locations on the island to showcase the warrior spirit of our people. The campaign aimed at shifting the power to the community with the message that we are not vulnerable victims of climate change, but warriors fighting climate change. Countries involved in the Warrior Day of Action were Fiji, Samoa, American Samoa, Tonga, Solomon Islands, Vanuatu, Tokelau, Niue, Cook Islands, Federated States of Micronesia, the Marshall Islands, Palau, Nauru, Tuvalu, and Kiribati. The call for action also went out to the big polluters who need to play their part alongside grassroots groups in action against climate change, and not to just pour in funds to the Pacific, but to actually reduce emission rates. And the third week of Kilikiki Games got off to a great start despite the unpredictable weather as teams from Pool A took their game to the pitch on Saturday. The Kilikiki schedule for this year has teams from different pools playing on alternate weeks. Lakepa was the location for the game between neighbours Liku and Hakupu. Hakupu blitzed their way through, mustering a total score of 343 runs for 25 batters. Liku put on a good challenge but only managed to field a team of 21 with a combined score of 153 runs. As for the other game all the way out in Vaea, the teams from Tamukotonga and Lakepa battled the scorching sun in a tight match. Lakepa bat first and got 254 runs for 25 batters out. Tamukotonga chased the score and got a score of 258 runs with 16 people out, 2 batters on the field and 7 team members left. The team from Alofi were on bye. So it's a tie at the moment in Pool A with Tamukotonga and Hakupu both with 2 wins under their belt. And that concludes our BCN News Bulletin for tonight.